I'm really confused because I can't stay here. It's very small. So I go out. When I go out, it's freezing. I can't stay out. I come in. When I come in, it's like a cell. I can't stay. I go out again. Just coming and going. It's making me so depressed and confused. No home, no state, nothing. In my age, it's about 7 years I'm struggling in this situation. If you could come to the place that I used to live before this one, then you should have seen that one. That was half of this one. But there used to be his room before. یعنی شما 3 ماه از اینجا رفتی اونجا؟
2 ماه از این رفتم اونجا.
2 ماه پیش اینجا بودی. I used to be here 2 months ago.
The policy of the Home Office and housing providers, if you request for relocation, if they agree to relocate you, it doesn't have to be within the same city that the previous accommodation was in. So if they agree to relocate, they could send people to Newcastle or Sunderland or Middlesbrough or Barnsley, Doncaster, anywhere in the region. They don't have to agree for people to stay in the area, which means that people are often scared to make a complaint or request to relocate for the fear that they'll be moved out of a city that they've made contacts and made friends and social networks.
So do you think a vast proportion of people are too scared to actually come forward and give testimonies?
I think that's a big part of it, and I think the campaign is having a bit of problem in getting people to give testimonies actually, possibly because of this reason. The person who's living here now is having the same problems as the previous person, but probably doesn't want to make a complaint out of fear that he might be moved out of Leeds. Can you explain to me what the main problems are in the house that you're experiencing?
We experience difficult problem in this house. The dining room is leaking everywhere. The toilet is not completely, is completely damaged, dirty everywhere. The stair, the hand stair is breaking. We don't have completely ET in the house. We don't have bathroom nice and clean. The everywhere is wet because of the dirty everywhere, and some of the room don't have light on, and ET is not working. Some of the rooms, and the condition we live. Some people are smoking. They don't care in the health of some people like me. I'm suffering. They don't care about me to just put us through in this house. We are tired of living in this condition. We try not to make a complaint for people to see what we are living in this condition.
So we're in the living room right now, and you can see the carpet squelching. And there's drips coming through the ceiling. There's a saucepan in the living room to collect drips that are coming down from the bathroom. There's damp all along the walls that's coming down from the bathroom.
I'm suffering. They don't care about me. We are tired of living in this condition.
In the bathroom, the wiring's coming out of the ceiling, which looks dangerous. I can see that the heaters don't work in the top half of the house.
And we got a window is not completely fixing, and this time it's very cold. The too many gap between the wall and the windows where you can let the cold get in the room, no heating in those rooms, and you can see the glass is not completely fixed. You know, that's the main problem we got in this property. The entrance is completely full by water. Then people need to jump before getting the door entrance. You can find that out when we go outside. Thank you.
And what's happened when you've explained these problems to the housing organisation?
When we try to say to them, look, how the dining room is linking, they say, oh, we're going to sort that problem out. We are many times, several times, we have to complain. After they say, oh, we're going to see what we're going to do. We're going to speak to the manager. No one turn up. No one asks us how it's going on. We have several times complaints. Nobody cares for us.
The nature of my room inspired me to write this poem as I went in the great trouble of looking for an appropriate accommodation, and I referred to this room as a cage, and I wrote the poem to try to explain my situation in this cage. A life as delicate as that of a mosquito in the cage, the journey towards the cage, the steps steep and coiled. I apply my full natural wheels to drive me up to the tower. The task is like climbing a huge mountain, the body demobilized by a stroke. The journey aggravates my condition. Entering my cage, slithering like a snake entering a hole, inserting in my few belongings, standing straight, stretching my legs, moving about is a struggle in addition to the stress. Structure, height, and hips were beauty in African culture. Unfortunately, in my cage, it is a culprit. I envy people who are small and short. Then I can stand straight and stretch my legs in the cage. On the journey to my cage, I develop cramps in my stomach. My feet suffer the consequences of being in a tiny space. I bite my tongue unconsciously in the middle of the night. I knock my head on the sloping roof. The feel of my body is like a bee sting. Goodness gracious, this experience is peculiar to my life. Even a chicken that lives to be slaughtered shouldn't be caged in order to avoid diseased meat. Depression has numerous symptoms in my body, where it branches out to deform us in a small life, equivalent to that of a mosquito. Our skin we used to admire, which once looked like a velvet, took us by surprise and has turned to that of a fish, from a fish to a frog, from a frog to a crocodile. The GP prescribed various chemicals to arrest the situation. The result is a U-turn. I once went through a bureaucracy of getting an appropriate accommodation as a disabled person. I succeeded. But because of asylum and a no-choice basis, that privilege was turned into an ancient history which seems invalid today. I sit in my living room like a pumpkin in the garden, contemplating the journey to my cage with a life equivalent to that of a mosquito. Should I keep quiet? Should I forget? Should I walk into the problem and end up in a wheelchair? Should I make my stomach a pharmacy of painkillers? But Michael Jackson never succeeded. I still feel I'm a human being like others, with blood flowing inside me. Being a disabled is a circumstance of no choice basis, and it can happen to any one of us. In the third world, we look at this country as a champion of wisdom, insight, and understanding.